All right, so for today in class, I did the next demo, which is going over the fish assignment. So for example, I have some posted here. The top row is just some examples of the fish project that's been drawn in previous classes. So there's three main criteria to this assignment. You want to fill up the entire space with a scene of fish or any sort of aquatic things. You have to have at least three different fish drawn. Two of those fish come from the templates that I send you, and then one of them you find a picture of whatever you want online, and then that becomes your third thing that you draw. If you want to draw more than that, you're more than welcome because you want to fill up the entire space. And then the third thing is you want to show some sort of depth so that it kind of becomes a three-dimensional surface. To do that, there's a couple different ways of accomplishing that look. By resizing things, objects that are farther away are going to appear to be smaller than things that are up close. If you lower the opacity and kind of blur the image a little bit, anything that looks hazy is going to appear like it's farther away than something that's very bright in color. And then the third thing is with overlapping. So if I have objects that are in front and behind of other things, that just kind of gives you another sense of depth to your drawing. So some examples that I've posted onto Schoology. Here, there's the templates for the fish drawing. Again, just like with the Minnesota Twins logo, I would recommend getting these on Schoology through the website rather than the app, because on the app it doesn't really allow you to download the pictures. So I click and hold on it. I want to add both of these to my photos. You're going to have to draw one of the fish from this group, one of the fish from this group, and then, like I said, one more that you get to choose whatever you want. So when I open it up, draw, I'm going to start a new project. Before I begin drawing, I need to place the picture of my fish. So I hit the little plus here. I want to add an image layer on my iPad and my photos. Go ahead and resize that just a little bit. Okay. So before I begin drawing, my order of layers over here, it matters. Whatever is up on the highest of the list, that's what's most on top. What's at the bottom is below everything. The background layer, I don't need that. I'm going to go ahead and delete it, just so I can kind of keep everything over here as organized as possible. So my draw layer, I want to move it to be above my image layer. And as I draw, I'm just going to trace this one really quick. All right, so there's a couple different ways of drawing when you're doing this. You could choose to just draw each color at a time as its own shape so that everything is kind of all on the same plane as far as overlap. Another way is kind of how I'm doing it here is I'm going to draw it, start off all as one shape and then draw the other shapes on top of this. But for right now, in order to do that, I can't see through this shape. I need to go ahead and lower the opacity. All of my drawing is still there. It's just dim enough to where I can still see my image through there. So if I wanted to draw the rest of this, It's very picky on making sure that you fill in the entirety of the shape, so that everything has to connect. All right, so there's my very quickly drawn fish. The next part is to now begin creating my scene with all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and, for right now, I can hide that image layer. I want to create a new draw layer. For this, if there's nothing on the layer to begin with, if there's no drawing on here, what I could do is go ahead and pick a color and just fill in that entire area with that solid color. Again, the order here matters. So I'll bring that down here. Now I got my fish in the water, and maybe I want to like that. Okay. So if I wanted to have multiple of the same object, rather than having to redraw this same fish over and over, if I click on here, I can go to duplicate. And so I can make multiple copies of this fish. It just places it in that same spot. To move it around, if I click on this again, I want to go to transform. It allows me to move. I can resize this if I wanted to. Oops. All right, so again, like I said, images that are farther away are going to be smaller. They might also appear a little hazier. So it just looks like it's now, this one looks a lot farther away than this one does. So 3 different fish using your 3 different templates. So I have one template already for my image layer. If I were to bring in another picture, and so on this template, I can start drawing again, just create a new layer for each one. So once you have everything kind of in place, like I said, you also want to have some sort of depth by showing overlapping. One way that you could also do that is, if I go back to this, actually I'm going to create a new layer. On this layer, maybe I'm going to have some seaweed. And so depending on where this layer is placed, now it looks like this fish is in front because it's in front of the seaweed. This fish is a little bit further behind because it's being overlapped, and so on. So you're just going to fill up this entire image, making your scene as interesting and as detailed as possible. So again, if there's any questions on any of this, be sure and email me. We'll continue working on this in class for the B group on Thursday and Friday of this week, and then we'll resume working on it next week as well. So you'll have a little bit of time to really add some details to this project. So that's all for now.